Hi and welcome to the channel again, and today I'm going to do some updates on my 2020 predictions. Now, just about 2 weeks ago, I came back from India, and there I did what we call some Homas, which are also called Havan or Yagnas. These are like fire ceremonies that bring good fortune. I did some for the family, sponsored some for the family, and I sponsored also one on behalf of all of you out there who are patrons who helped with Mr. Prakash. You remember we raised some money for him for his heart operation, and actually the Homa was happening at exactly the same time he was going into hospital. So these things produce fantastic energy. And while I was there also, Homas were being done sponsored by the whole ashram, Sharavana Baba's ashram that I've talked about. You know, you can find details in the links below that will take you to any more details if you want to find out more about this. But I also, they also did a lot of Homas for the world, particularly with the idea of the flu virus. You know, so they're kind of like a prayer type thing in a way, but they're more than that. They're a kind of an energy. They're the fire ceremonies, which I talk about in another video later, which will be putting up on here later on, are incredible things. But so that has been done, and while I was there also, I have mentioned this before, but Sharavana Baba, who has an incredible sort of ability, he will know the conversations I've had with my friend on the way to see him and say the whole conversation in detail to me. And I've said that about in my book God is Everywhere too, you will remember if you've read that. So those things were happening all the time. And he said, he went into one trance at one point and spoke about the coronavirus and said there will be 2 more outbreaks. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video, but just a thought there. But these energy things, these Homas are something that can help the world. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this video a couple of things I can suggest that you can do to help with your own thoughts that we can send out. And going to give you a couple of mantras that can help both you personally and also as for a world point of view. So if you are enjoying all this and you'd like to get maybe a personal prediction for yourself, have a look at some of the reading services we offer on the website. You may find that interesting if you're interested in finding out about your own personal future. Now, those that follow me will know that I've got a whole list of the predictions on my website, plus on the videos that you can follow here. And I've got a few things right and a few things wrong already for this year, but let me just sort of look at some of those first of all. And we will get to the coronavirus stuff at the end as well. But yeah, first of all, one of the predictions I made, which people really picked up on a lot, was on the royal predictions section that I put up. And I said that Harry and Meghan will leave the UK, and one of the places I suggested they would possibly go would be Canada. And of course that has happened, and everybody was rather shocked that it happened, but I had made the prediction. But what will happen with them now? I mean, Jane has always said to me when Harry and Meghan got married, she always said to me, Meghan's going to break Harry's heart. And I think that is going to happen because already he is very much compromised between his royal duties and his love for his wife, you know. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to end in absolute disaster, and Harry will eventually come back to the UK. So that's how I feel that will pan out after that first correct prediction. The other one I said was that Doris and Garry Simmons would get married. This is another one that myself, wife and Jane and I were talking. Because remember, Jane's also a psychic and medium as well, just like me. And in fact, I'm going to put a little clip at the end of one of our early demonstrations of mediumship. But yes, they announced their engagement. Obviously, the marriage is on its way. Whether this coronavirus is going to delay it this year or not, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's another prediction. I also said Trump would not be removed from office. I actually said he would not be impeached, which actually was my misunderstanding of the phraseology. I mean, I meant not removed from office, and I did clarify that in my videos. And it didn't happen. You know, he's still there. And I also talked about a betrayal, which we've kind of interpreted as John Bolton. Some of the people that have been following me and posting the comments and things seem to suggest that I was seeing John Bolton, and I think I was right there as well. I was wrong, however, on I said about Elizabeth Warren. I said she would become the Democrat candidate, and she's lost miserably, really. But then I also, in my earlier prediction, I did say, and I still feel this, that I felt that something was going to go wrong with the other two Democrat candidates. You know, I thought possibly there would have been a scandal with John Bolton, but let's face it, the main runners are fairly oldish, really, and maybe this coronavirus might affect somebody. Because it's already hitting politicians here in the UK. We've got our health minister has got the coronavirus, and other people in the parliamentary lobbies and so forth that have it as well. So, you know, nobody's immune from this, including celebrities. So maybe there is still an upset to come. So I might be wrong. I might just be completely wrong about Elizabeth Warren, you know, but if the other main runners were out of the way, I'm not saying people are going to die, but supposing something happened that disrupted it to the point that they couldn't stand, maybe Elizabeth Warren still stands a chance, but, you know, I may be wrong. Let's see, because I am fallible. I don't claim to be 100%. I also, another prediction I made was that Trump would would start helping to plant big parks of trees, or something I suggested. Well, he did quite soon, actually. Join the what's it called, the 1 Million Trees Initiative. So he's joined that, which again surprised people because they thought he was going to be all anti that type of thing. So he has started to do a bit towards the environment. I mean, in my predictions, if you read them on the website, I'm not going to go over all of them again because I don't need to. You can go and look at it. But on the website, I also talked about that there's going to be much bigger marine reserves set up and giant forests set up and jungles set up with a big world initiative towards that type of thing. I mean, it's coming off the agenda with this flu virus, but it's going to be back up there again soon. Another one I made, which is another correct one, which is Alex Salmond scandal I was talking about. There would be lots more new stuff being thrown at us, and it's all in the press again now. Alex Salmond, for those that don't know him, is was the leading candidate for the Scottish National Party. He was a leader of the Scottish National Party. He's been accused of rape, and it looks like, you know, more people are coming forward. And I did also say that there's going to be another one. There's going to be somebody else, not Alex Salmond, that's also going to be dragged through the mill with this, who is also connected with the Scottish National Party. So chaos there, I'm afraid. And I did suggest that if anybody was buying stocks, they need to look at oil shortages. I said there would be massive oil shortages, and this would affect the stock price of oil. I said making the price go up, but I don't know if I'm right with that, but it's certainly correct with the instability around oil, because we've got Russia and Saudi Arabia battling out over their OPEC arguments. So that's happened. And also happened, I also said in my stock market predictions that pharmaceutical stocks will increase in value. And of course, this coronavirus is causing major spikes in people investing into medical companies, because obviously the one that gets it right, the one that comes up with the cure or the vaccine quicker, will obviously, their stocks will soar, and so will all hand gels and oxygen systems and all those type of things for medical stocks are also going to be way up there. So let's now have a look at what I have to say about the coronavirus, because that is one of the things most of you are talking about and concerned about, and some of the other things that I see ahead for 2020. Now, don't forget, if you do enjoy watching these videos and you want to be the first to see them, do become a patron of this website, because of this channel, because you will see this video and others ahead of everybody else. And there's lots of other extras there, such as clips from my India stuff, clips that you can see the whole of Mystic Journey to India there, the 3-episode version. But more importantly, it helps support this channel, and it helps us do bigger things, like do the India filming. We want to do some stuff filming around the world if we can, and most importantly at the moment also have our own place where we can have like a virtual ashram, in a way I suppose, a place where we can do readings live and all sorts of interesting stuff that we've got planned. So that all takes some support. So if you support the channel, you support those things, and most importantly support some of the charitable work that we're also trying to do, and eventually get a centre together. So that's if you become a patron. So click the little thing somewhere up here, and you will be able to find out more about it, and you can give a small subscription, $3 a month, or you can be one of the really good helpers and $25 a month or more. So, you know, fantastic if you can help with that. Okay, here's the predictions. So if you followed my predictions about the coronavirus, you will know that I foresaw this some time ago, and the press all picked up on it, and it was all over the newspapers and on the online newspaper sites. Some of the links are still out there on my website, you can go and look at them. So I said about this virus that was going to hit the world, and I kind of wasn't quite sure with my timing with it. I said this is not quite this year, I was saying in 2017, it's ahead, and I wasn't quite sure whether it would be this year or not, but I kind of, it is, isn't it? And it's hit us, and it's kind of unfolding like I said. And in my original predictions I said that it was linked to a sort of a laboratory of some sort. It was a man-made thing. It was a weapon of war, possibly even with some terrorist implications in it. Now, I think I was right with what I said there, and the more this goes on, the more I feel that I'm right with what I say with that, because you know, why did the Chinese get rid of the evidence so early of the first outbreak of the coronavirus? The first stuff that they had, the first data they had, they destroyed. And then why go to such huge extents to build hospitals at such high speed and put the whole national economy into building these overnight hospitals built in a few days? Why do that? They must have known how dangerous it was. And why also did that happen so conveniently at the same time there was a revolution happening in Hong Kong, which I've been saying is going to turn into a major revolution in China eventually, and I still feel that's on the cards, because Hong Kong's going to come aflame again. But didn't it quell it all very quickly, didn't it? It stopped it all. It stopped it in its streets. Who's going to go out and protest if you know that there's a curfew in place because there's a virus out there that could kill you? And like I said, I think it was kind of... Could it have been deliberate? I don't know. In my first predictions, I kind of felt it was kind of deliberate, but it could have been accidental. But whatever the case, it's out there. And if it had been one of, like I said, if it had been one of the real, you know, deadly ones, we'd have all been wiped out by now. But I think it was a carrier, and it could have been used to add other things on. You could have added, hooked on botulism or AIDS or some other difficult illness to deal with on top of another virus. I think that's what it was. It was a carrier. It was like a vehicle for another more deadly virus. But we got the carrier out there, which in itself is deadly because it needs to be able to spread quick and be hard to cure quick and hard to find a vaccine for quick, which has happened really. So I'm still of this opinion that there's something very untoward with this virus. I mean, like I said before, you know, they've been chopping up animals in the Far East for years from wild animals and mixing them up and eating them all the time. You know, I mean, I don't like that. Nobody likes the idea of that. But it's been going on. Why should it suddenly come out now? I'd have thought we've had more of this if people are eating bats. I mean, someone even described on the web somewhere about this snake shop and snake restaurant where people can eat, you know. I mean, that's unheard of in the West, but they're doing it all the time. So the big question marks over that, in my opinion. And my feeling with the virus is that I think we're going to get a grip of it by the end of April into end of May into June, early summer months. I think we're going to start to get a grip on it for the first time, contain it more than we kind of expected. I don't think we'll get a vaccine until December time, and I think we'll clamp it down for a while, and I think it's going to flare up again in the winter months as we go towards the end of 2020, by which time we hopefully have the vaccine, which I think we will have. And I think we'll get another flare up later. And I think that is what perhaps Sharavana was also seeing here when he had his trance thing that I talked about at the beginning, that maybe that's coming, we dampen it down and it flares up again, we dampen it down and it flares up again. So it's obviously going to be a major impact, and it's had this huge impact on the finances of the world, and the stock exchange has gone haywire. It will all bounce back again, and I think it will come back again in the summer, because that's by the time we get this control over it, there'll be the confidence will be back again. Money will pour into safe havens. I think Britain's going to be seen as a safe haven, which is something that I predicted before. And another effect of this coronavirus is, I think, the other prediction I was making. Do you remember I said, those that follow this channel, that I said that Italy was going to be kind of the thing that collapses and damages Europe and brings Europe down? Italy has been hit by the coronavirus. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about financial collapse in Italy. I think Italy's economy is going to cave in, and I don't think Europe's going to be able to rescue it. And I feel that the euro is going to be in free fall. So I see in Europe in serious economic situation, because the whole world's going to have problems with this, but I particularly think Europe is more vulnerable than anywhere else. Britain, I think, is going to hold fast, because I think in Britain the coronavirus is going to be kept under control better than anywhere else, and they've put good economic safeguards in place. The trade between Britain and America continues. America, I don't think, will be hit as hard as the rest of the world. China's going to be hit, and the Middle East is going to be an absolute mess. And this comes to my next prediction that I made earlier in the year, which I want to revise and look at again, is that I have been predicting that there will be a war in the Middle East. And I think one of the results of all this upset in the economic problems in the world is some of those countries that are already ready to tip are going to try to get out of their situation by going to war with others. That includes Iran, that includes North Korea. I think we're going to get major problems from them. But most importantly, I feel Iran. And Saudi, I said originally Saudi Arabia and Iran might be the issue, that those two might be at loggerheads. Now, Saudi Arabia, if my predictions I feel are kind of right here, because Saudi Arabia already has come into grips with this crisis with the oil with Russia. And what will Russia do? Russia will start to support the other side, and Iran and Saudi Arabia are not the best of friends. And again, all the Syria crisis could boil up again over this as well. Turkey I feel is going to boil up again. Eventually, I said that Syria itself would be partitioned, and I think that will be the eventual result of all this. But I think we've got some conflicts there going to be happening in the Middle East. That's what I predicted in my 2020 video. Okay, those are all a little bit upsetting things I'm telling you there, but I want to now just talk a little bit about what we can do as individuals to how do we address this, and what do we do as people? So I've become quite well known for making predictions, although I come from a background in spiritualism, and one of the things in spiritualism we talk about, we have 7 principles, but one of the principles is personal responsibility. And I've always found that one of the most important principles of all to apply to my spiritual work, because personal responsibility means that we take personal responsibility for everything we do and all misfortune that comes into our life, and accept it as our own. It's a bit similar, that idea of acceptance is very similar to the Eastern idea of accepting that what happens in our life is the result of karma from previous lives, and karma from previous actions that we make in this life, and those good and bad actions reflect themselves in our life. Or from the Christian sense, as you sow, so shall ye reap. The things you do come back on you in one way or another. So, and it's in all the religions in some respects, but that idea of personal responsibility implies also that we have free will, because with the idea that we take responsibility, we therefore have a certain free will to control the course of our personal life. On a collective sense too, we also have a free will. So the idea of a inescapable destiny is something that can be changed by our thoughts. And if we can have good positive thoughts for the world, we can also help to change it and change the course, because I do believe all this is going to eventually work out into a good ending, as it were. I keep talking about a spiritual reawakening in the world, not some big revelation from the skies. It's going to be a gradual awakening of each person to higher awareness, to the understanding that we are all divine beings. Gradually the new age, as it were, the new beginning will happen one person at a time, one little light at a time, like billions of candles that gradually light up until they become as bright as the sun. It'll happen like that, one at a time. So what can we do? As you saw in that little video at the beginning, they did the Homas in India, and they were there. They are a way of sending, focusing our thoughts and our energy and sending out good thoughts for the world. And there's an ancient mantra in India that I'd like to share with you, and many of you probably know this one already. But it's just a simple chant, and they think this chant may be but they don't know how old it is, but the thoughts that this goes back right the way back to the earliest man, from the times of when just after the last ice age, and maybe before. Some say it goes back even further. The mysteries of some of these mantras have never really been fully explored. I think they come from another level of higher beings, but that's from another time. But they have a magical ability to them. It's also like a prayer, but in a way I'm not a great believer in the idea of prayer, because it kind of, in my mind, gives me this thought of like the man in the sky sort of thing, that God is somebody that looks down on us and judges us and things. I don't hang with that. I believe we're all divine beings, and that we are all God, and that everything around us, including the world, everything is God awakening. It's all God. It's already perfect. But that's what God is to me. It's in me, it's out me, it's around us, it's you, it's me. We're all part of it. And that every single thought we have is in effect a kind of a prayer, because every thought we have influences everything in the world. It's incredibly powerful. So we are all praying all the time, so we don't need to think of something separate. That's another issue that might make you think. Doesn't mean to say you can't pray. That's fine, do that if that's what you feel and that's your way of doing it. It's still just as valid, but I'd like to take it to another level, really, if we can. But when we think about this with a mantra, and you could choose a prayer if you want, if you're a Christian and this doesn't appeal to you, but or an Islamic prayer too. But whatever race, whatever religion and race you're from, use what suits you most. But this is an old Indian one, and it's simple, and it goes Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Okay, the words will come up on the screen. And that means, may all the beings in all the worlds be happy. I've slightly changed the order, because I've changed it in the way that Sai Baba suggested to us, so because it changes the plural of the Sanskrit to include all the worlds. This world, the higher worlds, the lower worlds, all beings in all worlds. So it's a simple mantra that I think if you chant that, you are connecting with people that have been chanting that for 10,000 years. Or more, and it's the energy hoping for the world, for all beings to be happy, and it's the powerful mantra that protects the world. So it's Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. You say it 3 times like that. And the other mantra, another one that they think is even older still, the oldest mantras in the world. These mantras appeared in things like the Upanishads and the Vedas, but they think they go back further, is the Gayatri mantra. It's another Sanskrit mantra. Now, Sharavana and Sai Baba and others have said that this is the mantra to use for inner healing. So it has a extraordinary power. I'll say it once, but you can look it up on the web. Because, you know, there's also people sing it and they put it to music and they put a lovely voice to it, and it's good to listen to it like that, but better still to chant it, and particularly if you can chant it internally and see that as a way of curing your inner health and your inner being, and you internalize it. So it goes like this. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. I'll put the first lines of both those mantras in the comments below, in the descriptions below, so that you can go and copy paste it and look it up and find what suits you with that. But I would suggest you do that. That is a kind of a healing protection for you personally. It also is believed to be something that is one of the best mantras for raising your consciousness. And look into it and look at the history of those two ancient mantras that I've suggested to you there, because I feel that will help you as an individual. I chant those two mantras and other mantras a lot, and they have a cleansing quality to them that can help to lift your spirits, and it will break things like depression in yourself if you've got that too. It will break illness, and it will bring good fortune into your life. So I would like to suggest that we do that, because, you know, people, tens of thousands of people watch this video. Tens of thousands, of a small proportion of you pick that up and work with that, then we're raising the energy a little bit between us, and it's just something we can do. Or just use, if you've got different feelings about those things, use what you feel you want to do. But if we can internalize that and take it with us, it helps the world at large. I mean, that's a very ancient mantra, one of the first mantras of mankind. Okay, that goes beyond religion too. That is, don't think of it as being Hindu or what. It's pre all that. It's pre all that. It's the most ancient ones. Anyway, so that's that. But coming up now, I've got a little. I promised at the beginning, didn't I? Show a little clip, and I'm going to put these little clips at the end often of these videos. And here's a little clip of the early days of me and Jane demonstrating mediumship. So I'll just stick this at the end because I think you'll enjoy this. Those who are patrons have probably already seen this clip because I publish it on the Patron channel first. But yeah, have a look at this. I've actually got hair in this picture, and Jane still looks just like she does now. But yeah, it's some time ago, but we were the first mediums to demonstrate mediumship on a mainstream TV. It's only a short clip, this, and you know, God, we got in such a lot of trouble because it was not allowed. The rules were said that you weren't allowed to demonstrate mediumship on British TV, and it's still not allowed to be done properly on mainstream TV. The rules still won't let you. That's why you only see it on the cable channels mainly, you know, unless it's being criticised by a psychiatrist or a comedian or something, you know. Okay, here's the clip.
Thank you. Well, Jane and I this evening are going to demonstrate mediumship, which is communication with the afterlife. And we'd like all of you here this evening to send your vibrations out to us, because we need your energy to make this work. And hopefully we'll be able to make a communication with those in the spirit world. We don't promise anything. We don't promise we can get the person you're thinking of, but we will have a go. Jane.
There's so many I'd like to go to. I think I'll go for the lady in the white, if I may, please. Yes, yes.
Have you had a reading before?
No.
You haven't.
I feel I've got your grandmother here. Would you accept that?
Yes.
And I feel very much as if she's very much coming round you at this period of time in your life to protect you. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Because everything has been very much up and down, she's saying. And I felt this lady with her very much went over quickly around the heart region.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I feel this lady with you is very much around you to protect you, because she's saying things have been very up and down recently, and there's been lots of tears with you. Is this right? Because she's saying you've been very up and down because you're quite happy-go-lucky person, but there's something that's just knocked you off the balance she's talking about. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Who's Mary?
My mum's first name.
Mary. She's talking about Mary, and she's drawing around both of you, this circle of protection. Do you understand
Yes,
that?
I do.
And also she's saying that you've had problems around this region here.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that true?
Yeah.
Because she's been giving you healing there, because I've got a blue light going round you there. And I feel as if she's leaving us now, and I'll let Craig do the next link, but to let you and reassure you that you will be all right, and all this problem around here will be sorted out. Do you
That's true,
understand
that
that?
is, yes.
Just bide your time, it'll be sorted out. Don't worry, trust this lot upstairs. Craig?
Well, that's fairly apt.
Yes, I'm going to the hospital on Monday.
Oh my word.
Right?
Yeah.
Trust them, trust
Yeah,
them. They're looking
preparing you.
after you.
Thank you.
Right, Craig.
Okay, I'd like to come to the lady at the back at the top here, second lady in, please.
All right, I'm in there.
As I link with you, I feel a lady in spirit, actually, and she's a very jolly sort of lady. I feel lots of enthusiasm and exuberance that comes from her.
Yes.
I feel I'm talking about mother's side of the family here. I'm not with mother, am I?
Yes.
Yes? And she's saying, I've met Alice too. I've met Alice. You know Alice in the spirit world.
Yes, that's
Right. Is that her sister?
her sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law, because she says, I've met Alice, and Alice is over here, and she's still just as much a bundle of fun as she ever was.
Oh.
Right? And she's talking about a boat trip. Is there a boat trip or something?
Well, we've got a yacht.
You've got a yacht. Oh, well,
Well-
you're going to have quite a lot of boat trips then. That does seem apt. Right. Because she's saying she's very impressed by this. Right. She's saying, oh, very nice, she's saying. But anyway, do take your mum's love and your auntie over there, and they all come with a lot of love, and I'll let
Thank you
Jane
very
do the
much.
next.
Very convincing. There we go. Wonderful. Thank you very much.